You're listening to WCBM, the radio voice of New York City. The headlines are brought to you by Acme International Widgets Consolidated Corporation, who invites you to visit your local Acme dealer and experience the wonder of television live with their 1947 brand new Acme TV models. Ladies, ask your husband to take you to the nearest dealer and learn about their 20/20 payment plan. That's 20% down and 20 weekly payments. And now the headlines. The Labor Department reports that 8% of corporate American managers today are women, up from 4% before the war. A university study shows that most households own one car, which is driven by the man at the house. Most women still do not know how to drive. And finally, the White House announced that President Truman will be the first to address the nation this fall on television, even though less than 1% of Americans own a television set. More on the hour as we play your favorite tunes, brought to you by New York's favorite beer, Rhino, the dry beer.
You're an idiot. It's 1947. You've been working on this for 20 months. We will be the first on the market with this plastic. You're fired. Get out. Now! Jeez. What? You're still here?
Thanks for letting me sit in on the meeting, Mr. Allen. I learned a lot about Acme Corporation. International. Widgets. It is a mouthful. Acme International Widgets Consolidated Corporation. I did it. I learned a lot, and your people have been most cooperative and informative. At first they were surprised a woman was doing this story.
Get with it.
Okay. I was at the Gotham Awards last month and honored your company. The deadline for my magazine article is approaching, and I need to enlighten my readers about you and your family so I can finish the series.
I've never heard of a woman reporter doing this. My secretary made a mistake. There's the door.
Are you always this abrasive? With your employees, that is. Firing them on the spot? My readers should know that because...
Do you always ask dumb questions?
It's my job as a writer. An award-winning woman writer at that.
It's my job as president. A male at that.
That's nice. It's important I get to the truth in my stories, so in that spirit, I've learned that your employees call you TM. The Monster? TM? How do you feel knowing your employees think you're a bully and that
Well, I have work to do.
So do I. Why are you a bully? Does that management style work? My readers should know that too.
I do not like you. What's your name again?
O'Brien. Erin O'Brien. And the feeling's mutual, sir.
Where are you from, O'Brien?
Originally, Massachusetts, Pittsfield. Been in New York since college in 25.
I know all the publishers in New York except yours. I also know that the editors and publishers are all men. I'm being shortchanged. I should have you tossed back to Pitts, whatever.
I wish you would. If you decide to the end of the interviews, my publisher says I can walk away. She understands. So I will gladly leave and go do the story I wanted to do. That new United Nations building going up over on the East River, I can't wait to interview the Rockefellers who donated the land. So please tell me to go. Please.
The Rockefellers, huh?
Yep.
A she publisher, huh?
Yep.
Not afraid of me like the others, are you?
Nope. Intrigued, yes. Bullied, no.
You got brass.
Can't say the same for you, sir. If you had any brass, you'd reinstate the man you just fired.
I care only about performance.
As I say.
Murgatroyd, reinstate the man I fired.
Which one, sir? You fired 3 today.
The one who just walked out.
What about the apology?
With an apology. That make you happy?
Why, Mr. Allen, you thought I was going to write that you don't know how to apologize.
Right. What you want.
Tell me, why did you agree to do this series of interviews? You're obviously in pain doing this. Wouldn't be hemorrhoids, would it?
Publicity. Acme International Widgets Consolidated Corporation. Why are you doing it instead of a man?
No one else wanted the assignment because of your reputation. So, if I do a good job, I might just make editor. First woman editor in New York. Now, when you inherited the company from your father, who I learned was divorced
Leave
by
him
your
out of
mother.
this.
My story needs some human interest, so it doesn't read like a mind-numbing Wall Street Journal article full of facts and figures. What are you trying to hide? Mr. Allen? Okay. Looking back, with 20/20 hindsight, would he approve of what you're doing?
Could care less.
You mean you couldn't care less?
Boy, you're annoying, Mulligan.
Likewise, sir. O'Brien's the name. Tell me, over the years, Acme Corporation was the first to introduce such things as nylon stockings, for which I think, but you should really make them into panties so we can get rid of the blasted girdles and garters that hold them up. Get rid of the seams, too. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Also, vacuum cleaners, pop-up toasters, radios, and just recently television sets. And I've learned that you'll be the first to introduce such things as jet engines, automatic washers and dryers for the home, and trans somethings, all of which I know nothing about.
Transistors. Tiny devices that replace radio tubes. What will make us so much money.
Yes, but
that
your
we're-
family, what are you trying to do?
I said, leave them out of this.
Did your wife divorce you because she wanted a career and you wanted her to
Out!
stay at home
Out!
housewife like so many
Out!
people out there want? Thank you. Thank you. At your request, I am officially out. I will now go do the story about the UN with international flair. Merci, danke, grazie, gracias, senor. Oh, and in Japan, it's arigato. Sayonara, warlord. Hi, Murgatroyd.
Sit down. I wasn't telling you to get out. I was telling you to leave my family out of the article.
Darn. Okay. Your granddaughter Carolyn, who I learned wanted to study medicine, but you'd have none of that because it's a man's job. What's she doing?
Don't know. Where are my attorneys?
They're on the way, Mr. Allen.
I've studied your organizational chart and haven't come across any female managers in all 20 departments. The Labor Department reported today that 8% of corporate America's managers are women, up from 4% before the war. By 2000, it should be way up to 10%. Any comment?
Well, next question.
In the event you were to hire or promote a well-qualified woman manager, I'm assuming that you'd pay her less than a man for the same job? About 40% less. I'm sure you and other men in your position know this discounting is standard. Any comment?
Well, I wouldn't hire. I mean, I would have to evaluate the situation and consider I would have to examine, you know.
I see. Did you hire women to do men's jobs during the war and then fire them when the men returned because those were jobs for men and not women? Even though the women knew they might be displaced and had to work twice as hard to try and save their jobs.
Well, you have to remember that men are more qualified than women. And besides, women are supposed to be at home doing their duties. In fact,
Thank you. During the war, women working in factories began to wear overalls and pants, and some still wear them today, perhaps as a badge of emancipation. Should women wear pants?
They're disgusting. Women should wear what appeals to men. If one of my workers came to work wearing pants, I'd have her thrown
Thank
out.
you. Our high schools and colleges and many of our magazines like Better Homes and Gardens and Good Housekeeping promote motherhood and homemaking. They are subtly suggesting that a career is less important. Eleanor Roosevelt openly supports those women who do want a career. Do you listen to her weekly radio program and agree with her views on these issues?
Well, I'm not really familiar with what's going on in our schools and don't read magazines. And besides, I'm a Republican. And I don't agree with Roosevelt and all of her harebrained ideas.
That's what I
or
thought.
This,
The 19th Amendment of 1920. Do you agree with it?
what's that?
After 80 years of fighting for it, women were finally given the right to vote in 1920? Similar to England's hard-fought Equal Franchise Act of 1928 that gave women the same voting rights as men.
Well, this is a complicated issue and must be examined from both sides. Now, I'm not saying that women shouldn't have the right to vote, but do they have the intelligence to vote for the right issues and candidates? I know that when we give in on some things, there will always...
When Wonder Woman was introduced in 1941, it encouraged girls to believe that with determination and hard work, they could be just as successful as a man. Do you think that's possible?
Of course not. Besides, I don't read insipid comic books.
No comic books or Good Housekeeping? What do you do in your spare time? Cook? Sew? Knit or crochet, perhaps?
Don't have spare time.
Mr. Allen, the attorneys are here, sir.
Oh, finally. Send them in. Oh, and get our PR staff in here ASAP. I have to meet with my attorneys about a personal matter. We'll resume this tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. sharp. I won't wait.
Personal matter, huh? Wouldn't have anything to do with yet another unflattering article in the Times about your rebellious daughter and your messy family breakup.
I said out!
Just in case you didn't know, it's polite to offer your guest a drink when you fix yourself one, even a woman guest. But I'll leave that little faux pas out of the article, like a few others I noticed, like not rising when your guest rises to leave the room. I have a good reporter's eye, even for a woman reporter. Cheers, TM.
Murgatroyd, I hope that, did Miss O'Brien happen to mention if she was coming back?
She didn't say, sir. She just mumbled, privileged male chauvinist, as she walked out. Sir, what does that term mean?